Hello ladies and gentlemen, Gaming Toucan here. Welcome to episode 21 of Let's Play Europa Universalis series, focused around doing the Mare Nostrum achievement. We started as Florence, now we're Italy, and we are in the middle of a great struggle against a huge coalition against us, a punitive war of 1590. As you can see, the enemy has amassed plenty of people who seriously dislike what we are doing, and what we are doing is nothing but recreating the glory of Rome from its prime. With that being said, there are those who dislike that idea and they are trying their damnedest to stop us, but we are unafraid and we are doing rather well for ourselves, all things considered. Well, with that being said, in the last episode we had a great battle in France. The campaign there was bloody, to say the least. Many thousands, over 100,000 people died in this conflict. Nothing compared to World War I, of course, but this is, I'd say, the closest thing you can get to in 1593. Now, our allies in the northeast are having problems with Lithuanian, Polish and British forces, with some Teutonic and Oldenburg appearance as well, but I suppose that weather is on their side, and a big part of this attrition number comes from Polish troops fighting in Russia. Always difficult to do, especially on winter months. And do the Russians have... yeah, the Russians have defensive idea, or Muscovites as I should say, because they didn't form Russia yet. Muscovites have defensive ideas, which makes attrition particularly painful. We also managed to relieve the siege of Crimea with our expeditionary force, and right now we're going to move into Lithuanian territory and start taking back, using the fact that the enemy has focused in Balkans, which are well fortified, not worth that much actually, and a pain in the ass to actually take, especially this fort in Ham, which has plus 93% defensive ability. Let's continue our wars. You can see the French, after being rounded up in the earlier part of the campaign, are now taking back Paris, which should really boost their morale. While we wait for events to unfold, we have we are going to move this unit to Modena. This is our regular troop reserve, which does not need to take part in the siege of Venice. As using the fact that the enemy is wasting time here in Balkans, we have decided to take a huge and important province that has a lot of money to loot in it as well, in order to alleviate some of the budget pressure we are facing. Let's move towards the Lithuanian heartland now and continue to pressure our enemy on as many fronts as possible. The Polish are sending them forces to meet us in battle. They are being led by an amazing General 4-4. It's not something you can ignore, especially that he's a cannoneer. Perhaps the most devastating of all the combat-related traits in the late game, but it's luckily enough not late game yet. Cavalry still has a lot to say. I'm saying that because we don't have that much artillery as we should, I think. So that is a problem, actually. With that in mind, we are going to build up our artillery numbers until our troops can safely cover the back line. Venetians can't really decide what to do with their life, so they are going from left to right and back again. Indecisiveness is always looked down upon, and it will cost them dearly. As you can see, we still have 50,000 manpower, so we have lost only 30,000 manpower thus far in this conflict. Even though we've lost 44,000 men in infantry in battle. Let's see, 87,000 lost in total, but a big part of that are actually mercenaries. With our enormous budget, we can afford that. So it's actually quite good to have, and the French are unfortunately going to lose this battle, most likely. Even though they have the superior discipline, morale is too close, and Austrians are decent combatants, still cannot be underestimated. Never mind about the French, we will reinforce them at a later date should it prove to be necessary. And Polish are marching back towards Crimea. Good opportunity to fight, but we are not here to fight. We are here to loot, pillage, and cause as much damage as possible to the enemy. At this stage, it is more important for us to cause damage than to prevent it in our own land, as we have been doing an excellent job on that at the beginning of the war, and it's starting to show as the enemy war enthusiasm is medium. 20,000 lost by Austrian Achaean alliance forces. Now I see a flavor of Dietmachen there as well, the Peasant Republic, which is strong, as you can see. Interesting and important. Not an important battle, this will be more or less an execution. But this is bad, and this is even worse. It means that Muscovites are, well, yeah, their war enthusiasm is mediocre, to say the most, because they are allowing the enemy to take important provinces in a siege. Now, the enemy is absorbing troops on and on into Crimea. I suppose this will work to our advantage eventually. After we take Venice, we'll look about taking another trip to France and eliminating some of those troops that move there. An excellent opportunity as always. Now, welcome to attrition damage, and I hope your stay will not be too pleasant. We could remove this fort really, but we don't know what's going to happen. Life has a habit of surprising us, and pleasantly excuse me. So let's just keep it for the time being. We could take money, which would be nice, but I think that Diplo points will be more necessary right now. We have loyal nobility, we don't really need to raise levies or do any other funny business. So yeah, we could get those points from burghers. Well, they have a little too much influence for my taste, so we'll actually just take the money for the time being and prevent another loan for at least some time. Let's reinforce our main forces, no point to really split. Milan. Okay, hi Milan. Okay, those sieges. Well, this is looking grim, but I suppose after Venice we'll be able to reinforce this. Just send in the navy already and build a few more transport ships so that we have 35. There it is. Whoops, we missed 5 transport ships. Surprisingly enough. We'll relieve this siege after we're done with Venice, which is now. And let's send in the rest of our troops. This navy will be gone in a matter of minutes or seconds, depends. Yeah, rather minutes. The Venetians are cornered. They have no chance at all against such supreme firepower. Even though they have bigger engagement with, we can take them on rather easily. Cassia. Where is our... oh, Khazar. Khazar, not Cassia. Khazar. I suppose it's in Egypt. Yes. We could let them become heretic. Or get increased... no, we really don't want to have global modifiers for something as cheap. So yeah. Decision has been made, and that decision has been profitable, to say the least. Now, we are losing some ships indeed, but the Venetians are going to lose every single piece of their navy. Yes, there you go. Beautiful view. Beautiful view indeed. Now, with that being said, do we really need any more ships within this area? No, it's under our... let's just leave it at here. There's no problem in that. And where is our transport fleet? Moving on quite well. This won't be a long swim. Dalmatia will be reinforced shortly. Let's move to the port, because this will be the fastest way to actually pack our troops. please be so kind as to get into Venice, from which we will move on forward. I will reinforce this flank with this army after we are done with Hainaut. I hope the Austrians won't try to stop us, because it could be a really bloody battle. The Polish have a lot of troops. Surprisingly so, considering the fact that they didn't unite with Lithuania to form the Commonwealth, that they are moving into Slovakia, and this gold mine, I suppose, is giving them dividend. Yes, it does. So, Navy is united. Excuse me, let's attach to transport and sail to Dalmatia to welcome those Pomeranians with 30,000 Italian veterans, who will show the enemy who's boss and where their place is. Okay, a splendor ability. We could start Golden Era, but frankly, it's not extremely important right now, and blockade impacts on siege could actually prove to be useful. Who would have thought, right? So, yeah, let's take it, and we have done rather well during this age. 3 objectives, not that much, but it worked rather well. And we'll need to retreat from this place, just end this siege ASAP and move away, because this is a little too much that we can handle right now. A few more artillery pieces being ready. Let's move them to Ancona and make a quick deployment in Dalmatia. Good. Now we could strike at this army, and I think it would make sense, but I'd rather retreat to southwards, excuse me, and get this army a little patched up with mercenary troops, perhaps. Thank you for stack wiping 11,000 troops, my dear friends. Always a pleasure. And let's move towards Lika. Actually attacking the enemy in the hills will be bloody. And I suppose we have superior maneuver, then we won't be even crossing a river. So just -1 penalty for the hills. Siege of Bessarabia is over, and we could try to attack here. Actually, this is better. Let's get this fleets on the run and jump from Bessarabia to Crimea to hurt the Polish considerably and make them pay the price for this siege. Now this should be a victory. Oh, definitely this will be a victory, even though it's rather bloody, a little more than we would like. Okay, odd numbers indeed. These provinces are going back into our sphere of influence, and we could assault Krain in the meantime, while Austrians are busy in France. We are going against those 10,000 Frenchmen, and we will reinforce them, because it's in our best interest. The artillery, though, will suffer, and we'll see how this battle actually goes and looks. French are good fighters. Do we want to... No, we don't. Let the French bleed, and let us retreat into mountains for the time being. Safer location for sure. And good, we are in Krain. We can just as well attack enemy forces in Canton. Perhaps think about taking this fort. Those Venetians look like trouble. We don't want to stay anywhere near that. Let's rush it. Rush, rush, rush. We just have to get it done ASAP. And with that in mind, we actually are going to move these troops here to reinforce this siege, should it prove to be necessary. We have invested 50 military points in that. That's 5 months of our income. And there's no way in hell we are not going to capitalize on that rather huge investment. Going well thus far. The struggle continues, but it is a struggle that looks better by the day nonetheless. The French, of course, are wasting their time and resources fighting Milanese noble rebels. I suppose the Milanese are thankful. I'm sure they are. Let's attach to transport and assault the Polish. This will be a difficult battle. The Polish have a lot of troops, and it's actually going to be the first time we fight them. The cannoneer trait is a problem. And wow, they are a formidable enemy. They have more troops than we do. This might be a lost battle. No wonder the Russians have a problem. Or the Muscovites and Swedish have a problem with Polish. They are magnificently powerful enemies. Morale, tactics, up to scratch, and I'm afraid of shock phase because enemy cavalry might be quite devastating, though it appears we are doing rather fine. Surprisingly enough, the enemy has the upper hand, and this will be a defeat most likely. So let's move to Theodoro to evacuate our troops. Now, will this make a change? It won't. The Polish are too good, and they have broken us in this battle. We will retreat to minimize casualties, and it just proves that our enemies are superior. Unfortunately, that's a problem. The loss of Crimea will hurt profoundly. It seems that this Eastern Front is far more difficult than I would have imagined. World War II analogies are growing stronger by the minute. Good thing we lost mostly mercenaries, though it still, of course, is unfavorable. But we have lost any troops at all. Let's add some mercs to beef up this unit by 6,000 troops. It should look a little better now. Though still not enough artillery to fill the line. And our incursion into Eastern Front has proven to be rather unsuccessful. The enemy is... I think we underestimated our enemy in form of the Polish. The strongest enemies right now. We could beat the coalition and take the coastline in Polish lands. Or we could take Venice. At this point, it's at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is a null point. Completion of the forming of France, 42%. We could end this war, and it's been rather costly thus far, and it will mean that we're going to have another one in near future. Can we pay it back? I suppose we can. Overextension is manageable. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the fight with the Polish has shown us that they are just as strong as we are right now, military-wise. The Russians will quit soon. And we have achieved our main goal. That is, we have maintained our strong position within the game without allowing our enemy to defeat it. Let's take this fort. Actually, this will allow us to convincingly win this war at a high point. If we take Canton, it means that our enemies will be at a severe disadvantage for a long time to come. Perhaps artillery reinforcements should be sent there. Please end, please win. Good. If the enemy takes Crimea is really holding up. These are true MVPs, the troops in Crimea. Venetia, terrorized by mercenaries. I don't care about Venetia to be terrorized by mercenaries. We can take that. War is hell. And the Venetians are going to taste it on their skin themselves. Now, our troops have landed, but do we really want to attack the Venetians at this point? It's questionable. I don't think we'll really benefit from this. We could kill them, of course, and lose manpower. It's mostly mercenaries. Yeah, let's just attack Venetians. We don't like them. We just want them to suffer. This is longer than wanted. And make them bleed Make them suffer. Good, good, good. I mean, yeah, these numbers are satisfactory. And 2 MVPs have fallen. Consolation price 10,000 Venetians. Not much of a consolation price because they can't fight for shit. But oh well, I suppose this was inevitable. Let's move to Raska and try to catch those Frankfurtians for some military tradition and just to relieve stress after losing Crimea. This hurt. Really need to get Canton and finish this conflict. It will secure our border really neatly. Wallstatt will need to be fortress. Actually, we can start working on Wallstatt right now. There's no reason not to, really. So yeah, we can. God damn it, really. We are not going to continue to take any war taxes. We're going to try strike enemy at Zita. Let's wait a day. How long does it take you? Okay, let's wait a few days for them to be locked. Nice. Free thinkers not persecuted in times of war. How 71%. My god, these people know how to defend themselves. Lack of luck really hurts. And yeah, this is taken and Muscovy will leave soon. And we don't want Tunisian separatists. Just kill them. Thank you. Get this done. Get this siege over with. Wow, 85%. And we're going to lose nobility and clergy and the loyalty. The nobility is maintained, clergy needs to be paid off. Greedy money grabbers, as they are. It's time to finish this. Would you mind successfully finishing the siege so that we can dictate peace terms finally? Okay, so Canton is taken. It means that we can take it in a peace deal with the coalition. Take some money, get no war reps, really. Well, war reps are not half as valuable as. Excuse me, cash is not half as valuable as war reps. And in this case, this is the best deal we could hope for. 7,000 troops dead on our enemy's side and 67 ships. On our side, 341,000 troops dead in this conflict, the biggest war up to date. And it was quite bloody. The enemy has lost 5 times more troops in attrition. Almost twice the number in combat, which shows that attrition was really on our side, as usual when you're fighting against Muscovy. Now we've lost 2 ships and 113,000 troops, so 1/3 of total losses. I suppose the French are strong second. No, the Russians are second actually. They can produce manpower, that's for sure. And Morocco wasn't too useful in this war. I think we'll ditch them for Diplo rep, a Diplo slot. They are no longer needed. So to conclude this conflict, we have managed to sign a rather big peace deal for 9 years with a lot of people. So we have 9 years to pay off our debts, get manpower and prepare for second coalition war, because I don't think our enemies will let this slide just like that. And we even have given Bordeaux to the French, so they should like us even more. Right, excellent. Power projection is strong, and this has been an excellent war, if one can say it like that. We have proven ourselves superior to practically the half of the continent right now, military-wise. We are going to dispatch those mercenaries away. We don't really need them. We need to recover our mainline troops. Now, where is our third? 1, 2. Okay, these are our armies. We're going to send these forces. Excuse me, let's just give you 9,000 artillery, perhaps 10,000. Yes, this is good enough. Send you to our Tunisian holdings because we need to secure it a little further. Excellent. Now, of course, burghers are disloyal. We could give them Napoli, which is a very valuable province, but perhaps for that reason we are not going to do that. We'll give them Tarragona. It's excellent as well. They should be very happy about having this because it gives lots of trade power. So yeah, I suppose they should be loyal now. Yes, excellent, they are. And they hold a little more land than they should. Regardless, yeah, sure. I'll give you that back. And you're not getting military access. We are very hostile to one another now. We are keeping Morocco. We really need to core something, but we are so behind on bureaucratic tech. It's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Hunting pirates in Genoa, in Ragusa, in Venice. And we need to hunt pirates in Crimea as well. I think we actually do. The 6 galleys will do. And let's send them to Crimea and be happy about our situation right now. Move to Genoa back, and you will send 1,000 this one ship additionally to Genoa. Excuse me, you'll have to move. Yes, the orders are given. Excellent, so war is finished. All is well in the realm. And our reliance on artillery must increase. Anyone else feeling rebellious right now? The Balears. Well, what if we give you some autonomy? Yeah, that's a good deal, thank you. The Balears, the Catalonians are pacified. Austrians in Canton. Well, come at me, in Austria. Oh, well, this is interesting. No, don't need to really do that. Okay, let's keep it that way, shall we? Lithuania has announced us as rival. Good lord, about time you do that, I suppose. This land is pretty devastated. Now, our priority right now is going to be the recovery of our economy. We need to get those troops up and running ASAP. Right now, this is at risk of rebellion, and I think nothing else, right? Let's just check with unrest map. Yes, yeah, only Canton, which will rebel, but we have a fort there, so it's not a problem. Waldstadt is going to be fortified, which means Milan doesn't need a fort anymore. Tyrol will need to be reinforced, just as well as Canton. The fort in Hum has been amazingly useful, so we will improve it. After paying up our debts, we don't want to spend a single penny more than we really have to on our debts. And it's about time we actually start building up our regimental camps. I haven't done it earlier. Oh god damn it, this is bad. My mistake. I should have paid them a little better. And now we'll suffer the consequences of our I like the word, of our indiscretion, I suppose, could be told, but yeah, 10 years of separatism, whoopty-doopty. Grimaldi is staying, he's old, but let's just cross our fingers that he lives long enough to actually die on next elections, right? It's not that we are being calculating and manipulative, we just want the man to be useful to us a little longer, because he's rather good. That righteous trait makes him amazingly helpful, and yeah, let's let them do that. We don't mind. What we do mind is low army tech, so that needs to be improved. And yeah, Tripoli is ours now. I suppose we are at risk of rebels anywhere. Not really, so let's reduce that and start cashing in the ducats. Sure. great horde. So let's send in expeditionary forces after Muscovites. After how much the Muscovites have helped us, actually, I don't think it would be too nice not to do them a favor back and help them in times of crisis. Oh, Theodoro. But you don't matter anymore, so luckily enough, we could go against Georgia. That perhaps will happen after we annex Serbia completely, which is soon. So let's keep on building these troops back home. This definitely needs some infantry. And I suppose we are at our force limit. Not even close. Excellent. Venetia is ours. It's even have regimental camp, which is nice. End of religious turmoil, so okay, nice. This is a quick reinforcement. How is our inflation looking? Bad. We don't want inflation at all. Should we get advisors? I think we should. The better ones, at least. But it's expensive, and we really need that money right now to pay off our debts. Make no mistake, war is not over. War continues in Europe. This is merely an innuendo, so to speak, a pause in the struggle. A brief moment of peace in the middle of the great war that's happening all around us all the time. And that war continues. And it will continue happening on and on and on until we actually manage to punch everyone into submission, which will take some time. So our troops have landed. Let's deal with the barbarians who have invaded Crimea, and then move and do some looting. Should be fun. Oh no, you need that fort actually. Yeah, let's keep it that way. And yeah, let's start paying up those inexorbitant sums of money. Crimeans have... Excuse me, the Great Horde has magically disappeared from Crimea. Sorcery, I say. And Astrakhan must be well... Wow, 30 development. AI really doesn't know what to do with those points now, does it? The Bohemians have left a coalition against us. This is most fortunate. Would be nice to continue expanding our infrastructure, but we have two important expenses right now to do just that. So yeah, money needs to be repaid so that we get ready for another conflict. As long as we are economically healthy, the enemy can't do really much against us, now can they? Okay, Kuma taken. Let's get to Manik, loot a little faster. Astrakhan is ours. Let's give it to Muscovites actually. Wait a month and yeah, just loot the area of all its wealth. It's fun, it's pleasant, it's healthy for the economy. What's not to like? Okay. Several more regiments, I suppose. This is... Oh, we are going over a force limit. Well, let's start working on that force limit soon enough, shall we? I expect so. And integration is done. Serbians are now... Oh, we don't really... That means we don't really need to hire that many troops, right? Yes, we can reduce the hiring considerably. And yeah, I suppose this is enough. Someone once said that there's no such thing as too much. And I suppose they never knew how expensive extending your force limit can be. So, yeah, great. Muscovy. Oh, 17 favors for this. My god, that's a lot. We have been given a ton of favors for something which was so insignificant from our perspective. Best deal ever. Now, should we continue our expansion towards Milan? And we should. Peace deal with Milan is 1602. We need Vienna still, so that means marching through Austria, because this is good land. And the Papal State is going to lose province, I'm afraid. This province is super valuable, and we intend to continue building up the coastline. The Spaniards need a visit as well. Okay. All is looking well, and our inevitable conflict with Ottomans is of course coming closer and closer. It will not happen until we have stabilized in Europe. And that means beating the living hell out of everyone who might try to threaten us. Is this oh, so a mission to finally go against the Ottomans. Autonomy change in one province. Really terrible mission. We will improve our relations with the French, as it has fallen to an alarming level. Ouch, this hurts. Luckily we won't be doing any troop hiring anytime soon. And my god, it's all-time low, our relations with our allies, the French. Let's improve some trust, because we really don't want to get on the bad side of the French. And right now artillery is doing tremendous damage already. Look, it's doing 2.4 in fire damage, which means that it's doing 1.2 from the second row, as it's halved. So it's... Let's get chambered demi-cannon, so it has better pips. And this is the moment where we officially start to invest a lot of money into artillery. And we need to get all that set up and done and do some regimental camps. So a lot of financial investments on our side. I'd love to get some loans and actually invest in our development to make it go up faster. But right now that would be consumer spending, as we are investing in military, which does not give any immediate financial returns. That's one. And B, we really need that money to repay loans. We don't want inflation to be reduced by our reduced inflation action. So things are going well, and let's keep it that way. This fort could be upgraded, and Tyrol is the key, so let's upgrade Tyrol and upgrade Canton. This is our border. This is the most important part of it, and as such Napoli no longer needs a fort. It's let's just keep one in Rome just to be safe, and in Mantua to block enemy mobility all around here. And excuse me, do you want to go to war? Or are you in a coalition, which means that you are invulnerable? Let's check this out. Oh, I don't want that. We really want a peaceful... no, you can go. Papal State Hungary, that's no one important. And yeah, actually, no time like the present. Let's not waste time at all. Let's just move to Hungarian border, send in the troops, and get another 25,000 to go against the Pope. And once we build a spy network in Provence, just to get this claim, which will make it cheaper to absorb once we conquer it. Well, thank you for leaving coalition. It means that you are going to be killed even faster. I should say so. So now Granada, this is important. We need that mountainous forts at the border with Morocco. Nice, that's a good deal, I think. Now we have truce, so we don't want that. Who are you allied to? no one we're going to attack anytime soon. So yeah, and we have a truce with the Papal State. Will the French get involved? Yeah, they could. And oh, they're guaranteed by the French. Interesting. Who are the allies yet again, please? Cleves, Pomerania, Spain, Ferrari. Actually, we don't want to make the Pope a co-belligerent. We'll just pay the iron price, I suppose. This is nice. And yeah, let's burn some midnight oil on money. There you go, 45 ducats a month. Don't you love it? Because I certainly do. So, no time like the present and no time to waste. Let's get the French busy. They won't be our allies forever, you know. Let's deal with our enemy and move our fleet here. This should... You're at war with me. No, you're not. Good. Let's half this invasion force and move into Hungary, and we are busy with yet another war. A fast one at that, but still a war. This bloody conflict never ends. Oh, that's life, I suppose. Sometimes it just never ends. I'll go to the capital. You go to Fejér, or Fejér. Pronunciation of Hungarian words is so absolutely inconceivable, I don't even try to. Good, get Romana, get Umbria. Get everything, more or less. This is, I mean, the fastest war we've had thus far. Move to Provence, no point in wasting time. Excellent. This is a formality at this point. We're taking everything, what we can. Oh, a gift from the Swedish. I'm surprised they think we actually need a gift. But the man is kind-hearted, what can you do? It would be an insult to say no to such gifts. The Northern Alliance looks rather nice. They have they have rivals in the form of Muscovy. So yeah, Northern Alliance doesn't look that well after all. Excellent. What is this? Claim. That's not excellent at all. What are you talking about? Will you need this? Military administration is a priority. The siege of Pest is done, so now we can kick some Hungarians back out of our land. Province is ours. Papal army will be decimated. Ferrara is taken. I think this was the fastest war yet, with an enemy with such resources at their disposal. It kinda gives you the perspective, considering how difficult such a conflict would have been 100 years ago. We have traveled far and wide, and will travel far more. And you won't be traveling anytime, anywhere, Mr. Hungarian, because you will be caught off guard and brought to heel. We don't really want anything from the Hungarians. This is, if I recall correctly, out of the Balkans. This is Carpathian region, so their land is of no interest to us. Nice, tax. I don't mind additional tax money. I mean, I don't know anyone who would mind it. So, yeah, excuse me for the speed if it is a little overwhelming, but there's no point really in spending more time on this trivial engagement than necessary. As soon as we take Avignon, I think we should be fine. No diplomat to send, my god. We we didn't take province and whatever, man. Let's just take it. Oh my! Oh, the coalition. 400 relations. But do we really need to be concerned at this point? I think not. I think we don't need to be concerned by anything else than overextension right now. And we don't want this. I think we do want it. It does cost a lot. But Italian provinces are more valuable. Province is important because it's center of trade, so those will be conditions of peace with Pope. Yes, indeed, welcome. And let's move to Bihar, continue sieging. And yep, excellent. Avignon is slowly falling under our sway. Do we want anything from Hungarians in particular? No. We have established that already. Military axis with the Ottomans. Alliance with Muscovites, let's remove that. War reparations. Transport trade power is not important. Actually, yes, let's do that. And some core revokes. This is nice. This should help us and make it easier to keep on the control of this land. Good, so the Hungarians are out. They didn't lose much troops, but they did lose a lot of money. I dare say that's rather cheap, all things considered. So yeah, let's finish the Pope and we'll be done with Avignon is ours. That means that we can make a peace deal which will suit our interests and needs. And this is that kind of peace deal indeed. Excellent. Let's core immediately and let's get Ferrara out of the way as well. We really don't... really only need to check over extension. We don't want to go... Yeah, it's fine. We don't want to go above 100 again. And that's a lot of money. Those people have been holding quite the budget in that little castle. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you goodbye. Thank you for your time in this episode. We have finished the coalition war and show everyone who's boss. We have taken important fort in Canton. We have taken Ferrara and additional part of the coastline. And things are looking good. We are gaining the impetus to start making really interesting things to happen. Thank you for your time. Please consider liking, sharing and subscribing if you enjoy the series. It would be a great boon to me. And it would show that you are interested indeed in making me more of these. Thank you for your time and bye-bye.